What do you think?
Morning. Something's about to happen here. I think we're gonna have a finished fertilizer barn today.
Alright, so it looks like we're gonna use some horsepower to put the roof on the hoop building. Hopefully get the fertilizer undercover for the season. Okay, so Dad is in the JCB backing up. He's got 4 ropes tied off. This fella over here is in his telehandler backing up. Again, 4 ropes tied off. And here comes the tarp. I'm no hoop barn builder, but it looks like the whole tarp needs shifted to the south a little bit. Right there in the center, I think those are tie downs to go across the center. Oh yeah, it's got to go to the south quite a bit. Overlap on the north end. It's the opposite of overlap. Underlap? Yeah, underlap on the south end. I heard a whoa. What do you think? Looks to me like it's all got to go that way. No. I'm guessing in the center, those are tie-offs.
I don't know.
Those black things.
Oh, I don't know. Well, it looks like the gray is that first post on both of them.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any overhang on that far corner.
Oh,
He's inside that strut.
Oh, he's pulling.
Yeah. This side's okay once he got over top of the peak.
Oh.
But you've got overhang,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have any on that far corner. Huh?
That window's looking.
Yeah, right on cue, right? Might see a gigantic kite. All right, I think they are maybe setting the straps in on the other side. Not sure. Huh?
Looks like I'm too far. Unless it's laid out. Hello.
Okay, so it looks like some of the issue is Dad might have got a little aggressive with the JCB and pulled a little farther than he needed to. And that's got the tarp kind of situated kind of diagonally on there. I suppose these guys have a plan to straighten it up, but we'll find out.
So one thing we've got to do this morning, put a little air in the tires of this 9410. Had 12 pounds in it when we hooked this big strip tail bar to it. She squatted quite a bit. Yeah, so we're gonna load up the spreader, or not the spreader, we're gonna load up the strip tail bar, and then we're gonna head to the field. So this bar is tall, or the hoppers on it are. Our tender truck is gonna be very close to whether or not it clears. We took the boot off of it the other day, it wouldn't clear, so we had a boot on it, we took that off. Worst case scenario is today we have to load it down the road on an unlevel spot we got. Hopefully that doesn't happen, hopefully this will work. Because it's gonna be a real pain in the butt if we can't load this strip tail bar everywhere we have to apply fertilizer. She may be old, she fires up, good old running truck. Ain't a minute because it's a Ford, but it runs good.
Right,
Well, where we're loading at, there's enough of a slope that everything worked. Now we have 6 tons of potash in the front hopper of this truck, and this is a 6-ton hopper that he's dumping into, so BJ has a garden rake up there kind of moving around. Hopefully this will all fit.
What's up?
I'll be darned, it works.
Huh?
Hey, how's that garden hoe gonna work for you?
Right here?
Oh, he just moved. Up to the field we go. This is BJ's first time driving this tractor, and we did it with the strip tail bar behind it, so that maybe wasn't the greatest, but it'll work. Now BJ hasn't driven an articulator since he was a kid. We used to have articulating tractors quite often. Last story I remember of BJ driving an articulator, or as we called him, a Big John. He jackknifed an 8960 pulling a grain cart going up a hill, killed it, jackknifed it. Hopefully that does not happen. There's no hills he's got to go up, so we should be good. All right, so we are trying. We're gonna see how well this thing's gonna steer. You can see where I went around the field with my rock saw. He's just gonna drive alongside it and engage. And we're gonna see if we're actually where it's supposed to be, not in the road. That's a little ways out there, actually. That might be too far out there. Definitely too far out there. So I must have had something set wrong on my rock saw because we were almost exactly 30 inches off. I got in there and nudged it 30 inches and we're perfect. I just need to figure out what I have set wrong in my rock saw before I make any more fields, because I prefer to not have to do that every field. But yeah, that'll work. I mean, that shank is right in the center of my old track. So I might get BJ going, go back to the house, get a tape measure, edit my implement profile on the rock saw so that we're good to go. That'll work. That's good. All right, so mild update. We don't have our prescription file for this field. We thought we did. We checked our email. We got the file for this after we made that jump drive. This field had already had its fertilizer spread on it. It's a long story, but basically this field already has dry fertilizer. Long story short. So what we're going to do is BJ is going to strip till this field. We still want to strip till it for the tillage aspect of it. But while he's strip tilling it, we're going to get that file on a jump drive. This will give BJ time to get used to the 40-foot bar, make sure our guidance and everything's working, and then later this afternoon or this evening, we'll run that field over there after we get our prescription. All right, we're going to let Trixie get after it. Maybe since this thing's called the Raptor, we'll call BJ Chris Pratt. He's got 16 Raptors chasing him around in circles. All right, so BJ is going to eat an Easter dinner. This is the day before Easter. He just did 26 acres with it. Now, I'm gonna give her a go. All right, here we go. We are moving. So whenever I map this, we've always had two fields right here. This is 80 acres total. We always split it down the middle. This field edge gets so swirly, so I just made a straight line. So yeah, hopefully that'll work pretty good. Now I've had some people ask, why did I do the surveying and mapping and boundaries with the rock saw? Like, what was the purpose of that? This is the purpose of that. Right now I'm not steering. This is the first trip around the field. As you can see, this is working beautifully. No steering. Got a line as soon as we get here. That's going to be very important for keeping the planter tractor on these strips. Anytime the planter gets off the strips from the strip till bar, there's going to be a fertilizer deficiency. There's probably going to be a little bit of a stand difference even with the downforce. So by being able to have this line saved, that way they can both be on the same pattern, that's going to be pretty good for strip tiller. Plus, who likes to drive them? And you got auto steer. So this is an old wheat field. Working up pretty good. Sometimes as wheat stubble will give tillage tools a little bit of a fit. Anytime we've plugged the bar last year, it was typically in wheat stubble. But it's going through there pretty well. This field's really dried out. This is very, very sandy. Our gravel pit is right on the other side of that highway. So this is very little topsoil and then sand and gravel right underneath of it. So this is one of our drier fields. This is usually what we plant first. It usually dries out first, usually gets harvested first. So this bar, it's a handful. Like, you're not going to pull this very well with 400 horse, but with 500 horsepower, it pulls it very well. Even going over this grade, this is a pretty decent little roll in this hill. We slipped a little bit last time, but we did make it. We did have to drop down a gear, but I don't think we dropped below 5 miles an hour. So very happy with the performance of this tractor, especially after we tuned it with Farm Focus. So if you didn't know, Farm Focus, which is our merch provider, they also do some diesel tuning. So Ben, he helped me tune this tractor remotely. He was not available to come all the way out here. He is in Nebraska, but he can send you a tuner, walk you through it over the phone. Super easy to do. And yeah, I couldn't be happier. Hey, look at this. We are going to crest this thing almost at 6 miles an hour. Now, it would definitely not have done that before we tuned it. Now we are getting some implement drift back there. Ooh, there's the hard spot. We are dropping down, so we'll go ahead and shift her down a gear. A little hard right there. But anyways, we're getting some implement drift back there. There's really not a whole lot we can do about that without having another receiver on the implement, and I don't know if Ag Leader has that option or not. But you know, that is to be expected on those hills. I mean, you're going to have a little bit of implement draft. Oh, I remember that mound well. Tell you what happened right there. I plugged the cutter bar on the draper head. It's one of the last bean fields I did. So since we've already spread fertilizer on this field, I figured this would be a great time to do a quick side-by-side. So I'm skipping 120 feet. That's 2 planter passes. If I'm doing my math right, we should be at a perfect place to do that, where he will hit that just right. And then, yeah, we'll be able to see this when we overlay our data at the end of the year, and you know, we should be able to tell if we actually, you know, benefited any from this, just from a strictly tillage standpoint. Because, like I said, it's all getting the same fertilizer application. It was all spread on this field. One thing I'm liking about the Ag Leader, it counts down how far you are to your boundary. So the middle of the bar just crossed the boundary. That blue line is our headlands boundary. I'm doing my headlands last. If we were applying product, I'm pretty positive it would shut off the product when we cross that line, or when the whole bar crossed that line, which that's probably what we will do. Being that we are strip tilling, I would really like to strip till my ends last, so I'm not just running them over whenever I turn. Also, part of the reason why I did all the boundaries with the rock saw ahead of time, so that we'd be able to do that. So like, it also counts going into the headland. I like that. Plus, we can go over here, we can see how much acres we have remaining. Since we have a boundary around the field, it's able to calculate how much area is in there, in that boundary. There's how much we've done. There's our acres per hour. All nice things to know. All right, this is pretty neat seeing this working out like I was hoping. Sorry for the dirty window, but there's my rock saw track. The shank is right beside it. This is working great. No more steering for the Brown Farms crew. I mean, there you can really see my tire tracks. And it is just, this is awesome. Like, we're just right off that fence. It's one thing, especially at night, I hate going around the fields just because it's really easy to get into a fence. In fact, I believe it's that post right there has a nice big green mark on it from the first time Dad pulled his 60-foot planter. He wasn't used to that 60-foot planter. Smacked that post right there. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of this. Okay, this is our last pass. So that's all we're going to do for tonight. This is the night before Easter, so we've got some family commitments. Yeah, not bad. Glad we were able to get the steering stuff figured out. And really, doing it in this field that didn't need product, that was probably the best case solution. I do wish we wouldn't maybe, you know, filled the tanks, but hey, whatever. Tomorrow, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what kind of family commitments we have tomorrow, but maybe somebody will start on that field over there. When we are actually going to apply product. Feel pretty comfortable that we are ready to go full bore with this thing. Alright, that's going to be a wrap. Some of the wheat, you can kind of see where we have some volunteer wheat and some vegetation. It doesn't really do the greatest in that, but that's just because of all that heavy root structure holding that soil in. But where that's not the case, this thing did a really good job, and when we get out of these wheat stubble fields, I don't think we'll have that problem anymore. There's my bulk row where I made my AB line. A little off right there, but be right. Now, just trying to get big unit up to the barn. Park this thing in the new hoop building. So it's a bit narrow right here, and it's soft on each end of the road, so I don't want to get over if I don't have to, because I don't want to get sucked into that ravine. You can't tell, there's quite a drop right there. One thing about a Jeep, they'll always get in the ditch for you. I just met a Camaro, not so much. Oh yeah, first time parking anything in the new building. So this is going to be a fertilizer storage barn, but we are only going to store fertilizer in part of it. And then from time to time we will do stuff like this, pull equipment in. I have several friends doing something like this, and they've never really had any issues with equipment. They're not using it as long-term storage for fertilizer or equipment. So I think we'll be okay doing it like this. We'll see. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. A couple things I forgot to mention in this video. One, the rock saw had an offset in it that I didn't realize. Originally I was going to run the antenna on the fender well, so I just thought that would be easier. Well, it ended up not being stable enough, and I was afraid I was going to lose the antenna. So I moved it and forgot to take that offset out. So once I figured that out, the steering part worked awesome. So several days later, it's been working great the whole time. One other thing I forgot to mention, I said in the video that we were going to do one field, or BJ was, that didn't need fertilizer. Then we were going to start applying product in the next field beside it. We ended up scrapping that idea. We had 2 fields that already had fertilizer on them. They were all in the same lane, so we just did the 2 fields that didn't need fertilizer. So we applied no product in this video, just doing the tillage, which ended up being great. We got the hang of the bar and all that good stuff. But hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up the video. Check the links in the description if you need any merch. And yeah, I know I need a haircut.